When did you decide to write about the Holy Spirit through this? Was it in the beginning after your husband had passed, or was it you then found out you had cancer?
Yeah, that was, Daddy went to heaven 3 years after my husband, and then it was 6 months after Daddy went to heaven that I found I had cancer. But I decided to write the book. Given messages on the Holy Spirit, and always it was, for mainline church people, it was like the whole thing was aha, you know, like, oh, and it's like they'd never, like me, they'd never been taught. And so it was in my heart to do. And then during that 4-year period between my husband's going to home and my cancer, I did write it out. And it ministered to me, Jim. I know you know that from writing books, that what you write, I wasn't just giving information for the reader, I was writing from my heart. And so God was taking me through concentrating on aspects of the Holy Spirit and making me dwell on the scriptures that teach us about the Holy Spirit. So it was ministering to me even as I was writing it down. And I turned it in. I had 2 trips to Israel right before I was diagnosed, which I'm so glad I was able to do those 2 trips. And so I turned it in before those 2 trips, came back a week later and found out that I had cancer. But then I rewrote, and like you do, because when I turn in a rough draft, it's a rough draft. And so I have to rewrite, edit, and polish. And so all of that took place during treatments and when I was dealing with the cancer. And so I tucked some, and I went back and tucked in some stories about the cancer. But I can tell you that the Holy Spirit is alive.
Yeah.
He is Jesus in me.
Yeah.
And he's available to come dwell within anyone who receives Jesus by faith. And the secret, he's a person.
Yeah.
So when we invite him into our lives, you don't get him in pieces. So I don't have a little piece of the Holy Spirit today, and 10 years from now I'm going to have a little bit more of the Holy Spirit. So he comes, all of the Holy Spirit came into me when I was a little girl. But the deal is that we seem to give him ourselves in pieces. So I'll give him Sunday morning when I go to church, but not Monday morning at the office, or Sunday night when I go back to church, but not Saturday night when I'm with my friends. So we give him, and at one point in my life, I got tired of giving him myself in pieces. It was just so exhausting to decide, do I live for him here, or do I live for him there? Do I not give him this, or do I hold out on? And I just thought, I'm tired of this. I'm going to give him my whole life, every nook and cranny, every bit and piece.
Yeah.
And then I think what he's done is not only fill me, but then I think he breaks you and breaks you down deep, so he increases your capacity to be filled. It seems like you're getting more of the Holy Spirit, but what it is in your brokenness, he's just filling areas that weren't available to him before.
It's so
and just filling you until you overflow, and that's where the blessing is. People are afraid to surrender to Jesus because they're afraid he's going to ask them to do something they don't want to do, or do something embarrassing, but actually, that's where the fullness of blessing is. That's where the fullness of joy is. That's where the adventure begins. To see what he can do in and through us if we just make ourselves available.
Right.
So there's freedom in letting the Holy Spirit take over, and then the responsibility is his. And if we fall on our face, that's okay. He'll pick us back up.
So
Yeah. So.
Oh,
As you
love it.